Hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Clutter, Sim to Simplicity. Today we have a very special guest, Zelena Guevara. We're so excited to have her here.
Thank
So
you.
Zelena is actually a neighbor of mine. And one day I bumped into you in the gym and we started talking about perimenopause, which all women should be talking about to each other. But then after that, we talked about minimalism and you have four kids. It's a blended family. You guys live, you're my neighbors, so you live in a condo in a two-bedroom.
Yeah. Four kids and a dog.
Yeah, and a dog, new addition. And I was so fascinated by that because, we were chatting. You're like, yeah, the kids are teenagers, they have a lot of stuff, but, here are our values. And I was like, what a great episode where we can actually talk about minimalism versus essentialism and kind of decipher that a little bit. So having less stuff versus focusing on what's essential.
Yes.
So let's dive in.
Awesome.
Okay, so in this episode, we're going to talk about the difference between let's say, two life philosophies.
Mhm.
And basically, minimalism is having less things, less clutter. And essentialism is a bit more focusing on what's essential. So saying no more than saying yes. Essentialism comes from the book Essentialism, The Distant Pursuit of Less from Greg McCall. I love that book. I've read it several times. I did a summary. I read the notes all the time.
Yeah.
So basically, essentialism focuses on time and energy and more like single tasking instead of multitasking. So the yes needs to be fast. No, the no needs to be fast and the yes needs to be slow. You say no to a bunch of things, but you say yes to what truly matters. So can you let us know what does that look like in your family?
Well, Anastasia and I were talking about this subject too, and it really resonated with me because I like to say that I started as a minimalist. Well, my minimalism journey has evolved with time. Like it's been a 15-year process for me. And it started with decluttering my home. It started with declutter your home, declutter your mind. That was kind of like my philosophy at the time.
Right.
But it was pretty much a selfish thing. It's like, oh, the clutter bothers me. I just, I like order. It was more like something that I wanted to do for myself. As time progressed, I think I started transitioning into essentialism because it wasn't just not more about what was needed in my home or what I had to own. It was about what was important to me. So I used to travel a lot for work and I learned how to live with a backpack. So the things they were easy to get rid of, right? But then it kind of progressed into, what matters to me, what people do I hang out with? How do I spend my time and my energy? It wasn't just about the stuff. It became much bigger than that. And it keeps progressing. And, yes, I have less stuff, but I'm also very mindful of how I spend my time and my energy and with whom.
I'm actually interested in the nitty gritty. Like, I want to know the setup. I didn't really ask myself to come into your apartment to see like how you guys look like, but that's what I'm interested in. And so you told me that you started with a house in the suburbs and you had a van because you have four kids, and then now you live centrally in a two-bedroom. So walk us through like how do you guys live? And I have a million questions around that as well.
Yes,
but like,
of course.
What is the setup?
So the setup is we have a two-bedroom apartment. There's two bathrooms, and that's pretty much it. So we have the master, and it's funny because we've been living in this apartment for over 4 years.
Yeah.
4.5 years almost. And we have changed our setting a few times.
Yeah.
So we started with we have 3 girls and a boy. So we started having the 3 girls in the master bedroom that has an ensuite bathroom. So, they were like around the same age, around the same likes. So we grouped them together. They had their own bathroom. The boy had the second bedroom, and me and my husband were in the living room. And we had kind of like a safari tent that blocked, gave us a bit of privacy. But then as time passed, we decided that we needed a bit more privacy than just a safari tent. So we took the master bedroom, sorry, not the master bedroom, the second bedroom, and we kicked out my son, who was entering the teenage years, and, headphones, Nintendo. I'm like, you're gonna go in the living room, safari tent, that's your space.
Yeah.
And now we did a second or a third setting arrangement, and we have one girl and one boy because they're more alike. We're a blended family, right?
Oh,
So we have bio siblings together and bio siblings together. So now we have the girls in one room. In the smallest room, me and my husband are taking the master bedroom. We have our own bathroom now. And my son and my daughter are sharing a bunk bed in the living room. And they really didn't care about privacy.
Do you think they care?
They don't care.
They don't care.
They do not care.
Yeah.
No, they don't care.
And do you?
I have one of my 4 kids cares.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that in this journey I've had to learn to respect their journeys too.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because everybody has a different personality.
Yeah.
When I was a 15-year-old, I wanted to be like my 15-year-old. I wanted to have 8 pairs of shorts and 10 purses and all the different styles of running shoes. At that point in my life, that was essential to me, right? So it's very easy to judge from my perspective now, saying, oh my God, you don't need that. Oh, but at that age, she does, right? So
because you went through the journey, and she hasn't yet.
Exactly. So it's been a very mindful journey, and trying to respect the journey of my children, right? Like I remember reading at some point that, sometimes parents try to, you do it out of love, right? Like you want your kids to follow your path and to maybe follow the way you think, but just because I think in a particular way doesn't mean that it's correct, right? So we're all trying to learn, and as they grow, they have their very distinct personalities. So we're all trying to create this environment where people are allowed to be themselves and follow what they believe in without judgment. But at the same time, we have a small space, right? So yes, you might want to have 20 pairs of shoes, and you might want to buy them with your own money, but where are we going to put the 20 pairs of shoes, right? So there's simply no
And
space.
I think I forgot to mention in the beginning that Zelena is a life coach that focuses on divorces. But I was going to say, like, if anyone's, like, best suited to guide a big family through a difficult process, and, like, a difficult process, not because it's negative, but because it's complex.
It's complex.
Yeah,
yes.
so you're well suited for that.
So for a person that is a maximalist, they look at me and they think I'm a minimalist. I think I'm more of an essentialist than a minimalist, because I like to have art on the wall, and I like to have things, but if the things are not useful to me, they go. So I have, like we always talk about my flannel shirts, I have 2 flannel shirts. The second flannel shirt, so it's not like I have one of everything. I have more than one of everything. But if the second or the third or the fourth thing no longer adds value to my life, or it's not a 9 out of 10, like I love the minimalists, and they have this rule: you look at your wardrobe, if it's not a 9 out of 10, it's gone. So you were saying that you were a minimalist, and now you have a family is more of an essentialism kind of thing, because you have to respect their journeys. Okay, so do you encourage them to have less stuff, or the limitations of your space do that for you?
I encourage them. They probably think I'm a little crazy because I'm always, since they were little, like especially my biological children have been with me my whole life, and my minimalism journey started when they were born. And I would say they were kind of the cause of it, because I went from living with my ex-husband in a home, just 2 adults, and then we had these 2 kids, and it was, they were the first grandkids on both sides. So we started getting like just stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff, and like, oh, and this new toy and this new this, and the grandparents going crazy. So my first thing was, we do not want any toys, we do not want any clothing. Please gift us experiences. So that's how it started. So by creating that boundary, we started getting less things from grandparents and uncles and aunts and all of that. And that's kind of like the trigger for my whole minimalism journey. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, if I don't want all this kid stuff, I'm like, what do I have extra in my closet? And, I remember counting, I had 42 pairs of shoes. 42 pairs of shoes. Like, and I still love shoes. I love shoes. Are they essential to me? No, but I probably have more pairs of shoes than any other minimalist.
But again, I feel like minimalism is and essentialism. It's a whole spectrum, right?
Yes.
So I don't think we need to think about it what works for you,
Exactly.
right? What it
Exactly.
works. I had, like I said in previous episode, 60 band t-shirts,
Yes.
and now I'm down to like 15 or something. But those are the best ones, the ones I like the most, the ones that fit me
Exactly.
better, and that
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you, and let's do the
Yeah.
same question. Do you encourage your
Um,
family members to have less stuff?
Well, so I got burnt encouraging my family members to have less stuff. What happened was when I discovered the minimalist community, and I was like so excited, and this is who I am, and everyone they were talking about it like through YouTube or other platforms. So then I went to my family, and I'm like, well, guess what? I am a minimalist. This is me, and you could lose some stuff from your house too. Not in those words, but like basically, if you were reading between the lines, and I'm Russian, so that's basically what I said.
I was just gonna say that.
And then so that didn't work. Uh,
Shocker.
Because people
Yeah.
immediately got defensive, and then they kept coming back to that conversation by telling me like, well, I like my stuff, and at some point it just made me feel really crappy about myself. So now the only person that I encourage to have less stuff is my husband. He's pretty good now about allowing me to just keep our house at a certain level, and he knows that it needs to stay there for all of our sanity. With my child, I mean, he has like a thing from IKEA that holds all of his toys, and whenever there's overflow, I'm like, there's overflow, so that I declutter his stuff.
That's exactly what I had with my kids too.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
a toy box, and they
Mhm.
knew that if a new toy was coming in and it didn't fit, something had to come out.
Yeah.
So since they were little, they were learning about, kind of choosing. And I used to have 3 questions since they were little, and now there's 4 questions before it was, do you love it? That was the first one, right? Because like you said, the 9th and the 10th, something that you
Yeah.
absolutely love. Do you need it? Because if you need a winter coat, right? Do you
Of
have a
course.
winter coat that is functional? Do you need a second? I love it, but do you need it? No, I already have a winter coat that I also love. Okay, perfect then. And can I afford it? Am I going to go into depth to get into this item that I love and I need? Is there another option? But now my minimalism journey turned essentialism.
Mhm.
I added a 4th question, and is, what is the impact of this product in our world?
Mhm.
It's a very deep question, right?
Very
and,
deep.
And my kids hate that one. My teenagers hate that one.
Of course.
Because as an adult, it's quite easy, and maybe I don't know, maybe I'm more prone to do my research, like when I'm buying something,
Mhm.
who's this brand? What do they stand for? What do they believe in? Where's this product coming from? Like, I do a lot of digging, and my kids don't like that part, right? So I'm learning to respect that they don't have to do all the research, but they know that I ask myself that question. And it's kind of like you're saying, when you're asking yourselves these questions, I'm not pushing them to do it. They know, oh, mom, every time, and they know, oh, that's plastic. You're not gonna get it. It has plastic on it.
So they
Or-
know you're leading by example.
Yeah.
They know, yeah, exactly. And they own things that are plastic, and they own things, but I try to, but lately it's like the new trend with teenagers is thrifting.
Yes.
Which I love,
I
right?
know.
Because I think everything I'm wearing is thrift now. So now, and now, like, oh, mom, I got this. It was cheap and I loved it. And it's upcycled or recycled, right? Like somebody's using it again. So they kind of feel proud when they get something that, like, oh, mom's going to approve. I didn't get it at a store. I didn't get it. But.
And these are the values that they're going to carry with them.
Exactly.
As they become adults and then they have children one day, or they have partners one day, they're going to remember that. And they're going to go, oh, let me ask you 4 questions very quickly.
I find that in my case, I struggled a bit to see eye to eye with my children, because my children were born here in a first world country where there's abundance of everything, right? Like, my kids don't know what is not having water when you open the tap, that there's no water. Like, they don't understand that, right? They don't understand, like, oh, there's, use your credit card. Like, they don't they don't understand lack of money or and they haven't seen. Yes, you see homeless people here and there. Like Ottawa, it's a bit of a bubble, and yes, there's poverty, but it's not like
Oh no,
it's not like a favela.
No.
It's not like the slums of Venezuela. Like I
It is
grew
not.
up literally face to face with, in my country was 80% of population lived below poverty line.
Mm-hmm.
So when you grew up with certain privileges, like if you had a home and a car and you went to private school and your parents could buy you Nikes, and
Yeah,
you
that's
knew
it.
you were very lucky
Yeah.
because you saw the kids in the streets begging for money, right?
Mhm.
So my kids having had that experience, so I think sometimes they don't realize how lucky they are.
Right.
But again, this is their journey. They are very lucky they are born here, and sometimes because my mom used to be like, "Oh, you have to finish your food. There are kids in the slums
Right.
that are dying.
yeah.
They would
Yeah.
love to eat this food,
Yeah.
And I try not to use that. There are kids in Venezuela. I try not to use that. You don't know how lucky you are, but at the same time, instead of framing it as you don't know how lucky you are, is be grateful for what you have, right? And be mindful that there are other people around it. Like my kids recently found out that most people in the world didn't have a fridge
Or access to clean water.
or
Mhm.
Yeah.
let alone the internet. Like they think the internet is granted, right? I'm like, internet, like a lot of people like don't
played
have
with rocks.
a fridge.
Exactly.
Yeah, like they're like a fridge, mom, and then they're checking ChatGPT. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Like the percentage of people in the world that don't have a fridge, like for them, that's mind blowing, right? So being mindful, and that's I think that's a big part of it. Just being mindful of it, right? Eventually, maybe right now in your journey, yes, you're really loving your shoes and your things, but you're aware of your reality and how lucky you are in the setting that you are, in the country you were born, the family you were born into, and you know that not everybody has the same privileges. And like you said, as they grow up, maybe they'll become minimalist. Maybe they won't, right? Like
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen, but at least I know there's a seed of mindfulness, and there's the questions, right? Like where's this? They know where is this coming from?
It's very important for children to be exposed to different countries and different cultures and see different realities, right?
Yes.
Because this is like sometimes in Brazil people say what it's like to live in Canada, and I say it's like I boarded a spaceship and I went to a different planet. Yeah. It's a completely different reality on absolutely everything.
Yes.
To the minor details, it's a completely different
100%.
environment. Everything is different here.
Yes.
And it's an improvement of comfort, right? We're comfortable here.
Yes.
And that in itself can be a problem. Easily you can become a maximalist here.
How do you decide on what stays and what goes?
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, like I said, it's a 9 or a 10 situation. And if I'm using it. So if I haven't used in a month, obviously being mindful of the seasons. I'm not going to say that about a winter coat. So that's like a 6-month situation.
Yes.
So with me, it's very easy. Now I'm in my journey where it's 1 in, 1 out, always by default. And if something new comes in, I'm like, like I can already see like an expiration date on that item. But I give it like, let's say 3 to 6 months, depending on what season we're in, like with nature here in Canada. But yeah, then it goes, and honestly, everyone's on board now. But like with you, I don't think you've ever mentioned it. So like, let's say you've been given a gift that's non-consumable.
I've had discussions with my family about that because they like giving gifts.
Yeah.
So I'm turning that around to experiences.
Yeah, but there are moments in your life where someone just gifts you something.
Yes.
And you're like, and for some reason, I don't know, I think it's almost like a tense situation.
Right.
Do you feel that?
Yes.
Like where it's supposed to be like this beautiful, wonderful thing where like someone gives something, but instead you're like.
So so for Christmas last year, my sister gave me 2 things and I kept one and I donated the other.
And you told her, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I said, because one of the things that she gave me had my name on it, was engraved.
Yeah.
It was a Ayrton Senna aluminum cup. So I watched the Formula 1 races with the cup drinking water.
Yeah.
And now I use it to drink water around the house. So I don't use my mugs, my traveling mugs, let's call it, inside the house.
Yeah.
So it was not something that I needed or wanted, but now that I have it, I'm happy I have it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But let's say it's like under a week and it's gone if it doesn't serve your.
Oh, it's quick. It's quick, and I have there's a donation center right next to my place.
Also, same
So,
thing.
oh yeah. So if I can feel when things are not going to be useful for me.
For me, I have a little box that's the regift box.
Okay.
And now that my children are older, I cannot do it anymore. But when they were little and we were having birthday parties, we never opened gifts in front of the guests. We always opened them at home
Privately.
after.
Yeah.
And I would always peek before. And I would pre-select what they were gonna open. And then I would put half the stuff because they always got invited to birthday parties and other things. And I would write down from whom was the gift because I didn't want to then re-gift it to the same kid that
Wow, that's
gave it.
great.
I had a process. Now, they're older. I cannot really control it. And yeah, sometimes
And
they
their
get
needs
stuff.
are like, oh, this clothing brand that's super popular.
Exactly.
And that
It's
clothing brand.
based
And you're
on-
like, well,
yeah.
I can't. Like, there's nothing in my box here that I can re-gift.
And this whole, it's also part of the moment in time that where we're living, in the place where we're living. It's a very consumerist
Yes.
society, capitalist oriented society
Yes.
with all of and the social media, the influencers,
Yeah.
all of these things like that are. I'm not even on social media anymore. That was part of my minimalism essentialism journey. Like I realized that it was causing more harm than benefit in my case. And I decided this year just to cut off social media from my life. And so far so good, and I thought the worst thing that can happen is that I go back to it, right?
Yeah.
Like you can always, and that's part of the things that I tell people when they ask me about minimalism and stuff. Just because something in one moment of your life it seems essential doesn't mean that it's going to be essential in the future.
True.
Right? So you are allowed to change. And one time, maybe this is, for example, this jean jacket that I bought at a upcycling store. I've always wanted a jean jacket. I've never had one in my life because, they were expensive, or I'm like, when do you really need a jean jacket? For what? But anyway, last week I went to Toronto, went to like a thrift store, found it fit. It was like $15. I'm like,
cute.
my first jean jacket. And I was so excited. And my husband saw it and he's like, oh my God, they have for men. And we both walked out with jean jackets. Now
cool.
We have jean jackets. My first one, right? But in all my life, I wanted it. Does this mean that I'm going to keep this jacket forever? Like, no. But
Probably.
right now, I know, maybe. But right now, I'm loving it, right? Like, I'm loving it. And sometimes, especially when you have these things like from the past, right? Like, I've always wanted this, right? Like, I've always wanted to have a Queen sweatshirt. I found a Queen sweatshirt and I got it, right? Like,
great band.
Great.
Yeah.
The best. The best. But yeah, I just find that part of the whole essentialism journey is also being aware that, just because something seems essential in the moment doesn't mean that it might be forever. And that's why you have to check. For me, it's a year. I usually give things a year.
Do you find that minimalism or essentialism has influenced areas outside your home life, like friendships and relationships, work, and personal well-being?
Yes, 100%. And I guess I kind of spoke briefly about it before, how it began as a just declutter because stuff makes me crazy and makes me anxious, and I don't like a mess, and I just want clean. I just want to walk in and feel at peace because it truly, like, for me, the fact that I open my door and I see a mess is mentally harmful to me. So and it became a decision, right? It was like, if this is really causing you anxiety and stress, like, get rid of the things that are causing you, right? And if you don't like cleaning, then if you have less stuff, less cleaning. If you don't like vacuuming, if you don't have a 3-bedroom townhouse in the suburbs and you have a tiny, like, I can clean my apartment in 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes me. So, and that was a big thing for me. I don't like cleaning.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy cooking particularly. I don't need a big kitchen. But again, like some people, and my husband loves cooking. So that's where, again, we're kind of had to, my kitchen probably has more things that, like, I used to have one knife because I barely cooked. My husband has a knife for the tomatoes and the bread. And like, because he likes to cook and he knows it, and he's the cook in the house. So I need to respect that. But again, because it's been a journey and we have a small kitchen, we don't have the big kitchen in the big house anymore. We had to reduce the amount of kitchen appliances. And, now we have a big cast iron, for example, like, and that's what we use for everything. That's our one pan. And then we have 2 sizes of pots, and we have little things like that. But from the things, right? It evolved into a lifestyle and it's almost like a way of life. And like I said, I just started questioning more and more, like, do I need this? And adding the more questions. Do I want it? Do I love it? What does this mean to me? What is this bringing to my life? And then what is the impact of this? So, and it became to the point where, oh, let's go to this party. Okay, oh, we have to go because, you know, they've invited us 3 times and we've said no. But then again, it's being true to yourself. If something in your body is telling you that you're not comfortable going somewhere, why are you going to go?
Yeah.
Right?
But even in your career, you were mentioning to me all your skills, and I was like, oh, like we live in a government town, and I was like, oh, Zelena, you would be, you know, perfect in a federal government kind of environment, right? But no, she wouldn't, because of just what her passions are and interests, right? And I think all 3 of us chose our careers that way. Like, we literally followed what makes us happy,
Passions.
and our passions.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
And when you stop thinking, right, because for a lot of people, for example, money is essential, right? And having bigger things, and again, being inserted in this culture, in this society where success is measured based on what you own and what you show, right? Like, but a lot of people, and it's funny because my husband's an economist who works for the government,
Right.
and he actually did the math with his boss, and unless you can put 50% down on your home, with what you're paying in maintenance, what you're paying in property taxes, what you're paying. And again, I respect people because a lot of people love their homes, right? Like, I have friends that have gorgeous homes. That's just not me. Like, I'd rather use that money to travel, for example, right? Travel, in my case, is essential.
How does your, like, friend and family circle look like, and how do they react to your lifestyle?
It was more like a, you know, like, oh, this is just like a little thing she's going into.
She's
like
going crazy.
Yeah,
after
it's
her
a phase.
divorce.
It's a phase.
It's just
Okay.
a phase, or she probably read the Marie Kondo book, and, you know, like, which I did. But again, it was a very progressive thing for me. It wasn't like from day to night. Right. It was very progressive. But my close friends and family that have seen the process, like, have noticed how gradually I'm becoming more of an essentialist. But for example, my mom still jokes. She's like, "You're not a minimalist. You're not a minimalist. You're just poor." She says it as a joke, right? Because I'm like, "Mom, can I borrow, I don't know, a tray?" So yeah, like, I would say to my mom, you know, "Can I borrow this tray?" I'm like, "You don't have a tray?" Like, she cannot understand that I don't have. I'm like, "Well, I barely entertain. I don't have the necessity of a tray. Can I borrow one of yours?" Well, she'll have a plethora of trays of different colors and styles, depending on how fancy the event is going to be, if it's Christmas or not. Like, but my mom grew up very poor, and again, in a culture where, you know, success still was measured based on what you had. So acquiring things was important to her to show her status, and that's her journey, right? But at the same time, I have friends that ask me, like, "Oh my God, you've traveled, like, how have you done so many trips?" And I'm like, "Well, look at the place you own, right? Like, think about your mortgage, like, all of these expenses that you have, I don't have."
True.
Like, I don't have these expenses. So yes, I've been to 38 countries and I love traveling, but I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't have a car anymore. We don't even have a car.
We have different backgrounds from 3 different countries, and we have different family structures, but we're pretty much in the same life journey.
And I do find that it's kind of like a bit of a mentality, a lifestyle. And every time I meet a minimalist, I'm like, I know we're going to get along. Yeah. Because it's not just about the clutter. Like, like you say, it's a lifestyle. It's a way of life. Yeah. So when I meet it, like, when you tell me a minute, I'm like, oh yeah, no wonder we get along. Like, it's like you know right away that you're going to be aligned on other things.
Wow. Well, this was a really great discussion. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
For whoever's listening and watching, let us know in the comments, which idea is closer to you. Are you a minimalist? Are you an essentialist? Do you think the two kind of just go together naturally? We'd love to hear from you.
Don't forget to find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Until next time on Net to Clutter, Sim to Simplicity, where we cut through the chaos and help you simplify life, work, and everything in between.